Hey everyone, Joaquin here from the World Unboxed, and we're going to be talking about AEW special Dynamite and Rampage Grand Slam events this week. So that just finished a while ago, at least for Rampage, and I just thought I'd cover both quite quickly and share the results and my thoughts on it. So as usual, lots of good stuff to talk about with AEW, and they're certainly building some momentum right now. So here goes. So first, let's talk about Dynamite. So that happened Wednesday this week. So it started off with running full steam with Bryan Danielson facing Kenny Omega in a non-title match. So that was a bit of a surprise for them to start with that. It was a dream match, and you could feel it right off the bat. They had such a great match, and I know Daniel Bryan's good. Bryan Danielson rather. And from WWE and everything, but seeing him here, I don't know if it's just the new brand, the new company, or facing off against someone with the caliber of Kenny Omega, but this was a different Bryan Danielson, more intense than I've ever seen, grittier, he hit way harder, more aggressive, intense moves, and it's kind of cool because they were able to do that, and it was very believable, even if there wasn't much time for an actual build-up for that match, other than the fact that it was a dream match, and these are two top dogs facing for the first time since they got, I guess, really big. I kind of feared for his neck at some points because of all the V-triggers from Kenny Omega. So those look like they actually hurt. And also his chest, like, man, just red marks, red streaks beyond the normal that a wrestler would get in a match. So that was intense. That was the grittiest I've seen of him. It did have a 30-minute time limit. It ended in a draw, which was quite disappointing. I knew there were other matches on the card, so I was half hoping Tony Khan or someone would come out and restart the match. But that didn't happen. For the story, for where it could go, I'm trusting in the payoff, and that something better will happen. So it's not that big of a problem. The takeaway is you can see what both are capable of, and you know that when they're gonna have a match again, it's really something to look forward to. So after all that, the Super Click came out to help Kenny Omega, then Christian and the Jurassic Express, so kind of setting up for Rampage, which we'll talk about later. So that was good. After that match, there was a CM Punk promo, and it was okay. It's just kind of exactly what it is, a promo setting up further for the match against Powerhouse Hobbs on Rampage. So that was also good. I saw it on both shows, but nice to see the Philippine flag in the crowd there. It was quite big. I don't know, whoever you are. Nice to see. I wasn't expecting that, and it was pretty cool to see. The next match was MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr., sort of the grudge match because they've been building up that heat, and MJF being MJF, insulting his hometown, his family, and everything. That was an okay match. It ended in MJF winning, which is, I think, also all right, because I know they're pushing him a lot, and he's kind of kayfabe strong. But I felt really bad for Brian Pillman Jr. So if they were building that up and MJF did all that for that to be the finish, that's kind of lame for him. I don't know where that's going. Let's see, and hopefully it ends up in some sort of payoff for Brian Pillman Jr., even if he needs help from someone. But in any case, it's good to kind of see that MJF's going a different direction now, and it's not so much the Jericho rivalry anymore. and it's good for both of them that they're both kind of exploring new things. And I mentioned that when I talked about All Out, so that was nice to see. The next match was Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. So that was pretty good. Like any Malachi Black match and any Cody Rhodes match, I would look forward to. I was kind of surprised though, knowing that Alistair's playing the heel and Cody the babyface, that Cody was being booed a lot throughout the arena. Malachi Black's just too hot right now to be booed in any way. People are just gonna cheer for him, and I think it's the same for Adam Cole. Now that I mention it, so I don't know where that's going. Is maybe Cody is going heel? Maybe they take the cue and go heel, and I think that would actually work quite well. I don't know about their PR stuff with Brandy and everything, but with all of the Elite being heel as well, it kind of fits. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. Not the best ending. It was I didn't know Malachi Black did the green mist or spit sort of thing now. But yeah, I was hoping to see the Black Mass and him hitting it really, really well like he does most of the time. So yeah, so that it was just a mist and a roll up. Then that was it. The next match was FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin. That was surprisingly good too. Although I am a fan of seeing Darby Allin matches, and I know FTR always delivers on tag team matches too. The good surprise was Sting. It really kind of kept up with FTR and Darby Allin, and that was really, really fun to see. I'm not expecting too much out of Sting's in-ring career in the future, but to have these once in a while, as much as he can, that would be nice too. And that match ended in a win for Darby Allin and Sting too. I think that match could have gone either way, but it was a good result. Then the last match for Dynamite was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus who is the champion, versus Ruby Soho, challenging for the AEW Women's Championship. And it was a good match. Like, I think a solid 3 stars, solid B, I would say. But from all the different matches throughout the night, it kind of pales just a little bit in comparison. Britt Baker retained the championship, so she didn't lose it, which I quite like, because I am not too familiar with her. I don't know her that much, but the more matches I see from her, I'm starting to like her more and more, and I want to see more of that. And for her to lose the belt, I prefer for it to be sort of a rival that's more built up, and a rivalry that's more built up. And I know Ruby Soho won the Casino Royale, but that is, just the best, most exciting way to introduce her, but not necessarily means that she's the best contender right now for the role to go for that very quickly. It was overall a solid Dynamite, like a really stacked card. It's like it gets you quite excited for what's to come. And I guess the only kind of criticism I could give for it is that it peaked too early, so in the first match. But I know with a draw finish, it probably wouldn't have worked as well as the last match on the card. But still, that was definitely the highlight, and they did not reach those highs again throughout the night, even as good as all the matches were. So that's Dynamite. So earlier today, we had the Rampage Grand Slam show, and that was another sack card, and it is 2 hours now versus the normal 1 hour, and it actually had more matches, I think, than Dynamite. Through the Rampage card, we actually had the first match was CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs, and I am not that familiar with Powerhouse Hobbs, but he looked very impressive. Big man, but not, but the new breed of big man in modern wrestling. and it was an interesting match to see. CM Punk got a lot of offense early on, then the tide was turned at most of the match. I think was CM Punk playing defense and Powerhouse Hobbs just dominating. And for a time I thought CM Punk was actually gonna lose, which is I think good storytelling there. CM Punk did win at the end with a GTS, so that was awesome. But looking at the crowd and looking at the pace of the match, I was kind of expecting a bit more, I guess, reaction. The crowd was quite lethargic and I guess not connecting as much with the match. So hopefully moving forward, I don't know if what's next for CM Punk is going through the rest of Team Taz. But I'm hoping for something more exciting, I guess, to build more of a momentum. It may be by design, but it does seem that right now Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan are in a much hotter space within the AEW environment. Definitely a strong match to start the show, and a surprising match to start the show. So the next match was the Super Click, which is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. So that immediately was a more exciting match from the start, and it was really fun to watch, seeing them all interact, seeing the Super Click back together. Really good action. I guess, yeah, the Super Click delivered as usual, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well the match looked against Jungle Boy and against Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus with all the unique offense, and he's busting out moves now that I haven't seen from him before, like the double choke slam where one falls on another. So that was very interesting. Christian Cage also, I guess, from the technical aspect, but for me personally, not quite as exciting as the other five. I guess it's a sign that he's from, I guess, a different time as these guys, but that was or not like fully in like the modern style, or at least AEW style of wrestling. So it kind of felt like the odd one out there. But overall, really good. There were a few spots that were kind of... it's hard to maintain that suspension of disbelief. Like when Adam Cole and Luchasaurus were exchanging blows, and it looked like Lucha's punches were like grazing him. So that kind of distracted me. But overall, great match, and I'm such a fan of the Super Click, as good as the Jurassic Express are, and as much as I like Christian Cage too. So happy with the result, and more stuff for the Super Click. Up next we had Jericho and Chris Jericho. Up next we had Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus the Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. I'm not really that familiar with Ethan Page, but I know Scorpio Sky, and kind of sad to not see him in SCU anymore. So he's now a heel, and the match was okay. I think definitely not as exciting as the previous match, but it was good to see these guys in the ring. Good action. And Jericho had some pretty good offense and pretty good moves in there, which was very nice to see. As a huge Chris Jericho fan myself, he's my favorite of all time. He's the GOAT. I also enjoyed that picture perfect lion salt. That was just really good. And yeah, but unfortunately they did lose. It was a dirty loss, but yeah, the Men of the Year picked up that 30 win, and as Chris and Jake were about to beat up Dan Lambert inside, all these UFC guys came out, and I'm gonna need some help from you guys and my friends in terms of knowing all of them, but I really don't follow UFC that much, so I don't. I'm vaguely familiar with Masvidal and Paige Van Zandt, but other than that, not really. So yeah, but it's interesting to see what they're setting up there. Are they opening up the forbidden door to UFC now too? But all of that is, yeah, definitely more exciting. Another piece of the whole tapestry of why AEW is very exciting now. So it looks like they're building up more of a rivalry there. The next one, I guess, yeah, we can cover it quickly. It was a very, very quick and actually rushed, from the looks of it, match. It was the Hardy Family Office, which was Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade. And there was, they were up against the tag team champs, the Lucha Brothers, and Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. So it did look like, I love spots and the AEW style of wrestling, but this did look like a super rushed, absolute spot fest. But I was looking at the clock, and it did make sense that they didn't really have a lot of time. So I was thinking, maybe they were looking forward to it a lot, but it could have been just pushed to next week, and where it could breathe a lot more and be a much better match. But yeah, it was very quick. I actually had a problem with my Fight app, and I totally missed the ending, but I know that the baby faces won. So that was all right, and just mainly a very quick showcase for these tag teams. I don't understand yet the Hardy, like Matt Hardy's angle right now. The last time I watched, he was still broken, and I'm kind of sad I missed that. But now Hardy Family Office, I don't know if he's picking up all these random tag teams, because he does have the hybrid too also. But yeah, interested to see where that goes. The next match was Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. So two good female wrestlers that I'm familiar with. It was also quite quick, but it didn't feel as short as the previous match. Dirty finish with the brass knuckles or gold knuckles that the bunny threw in there. So that was very quick. Ty Conti came out and helped after the post-match beatdown after Penelope Ford won. But yeah, immediately got beaten down too, which is too bad. And I was wondering why she didn't come out much sooner. That didn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, then after there was the HFO came out and continued the beat down for Anna and Ty, but then the Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander came out with the Dark Order, so I'm not too up to speed yet with what's going on there. They were teasing the Dark Order being totally complete again, then it didn't happen. So yeah, so I just don't know enough about AEW yet and the current storylines to follow very well, but that looks like the clash that's happening. So the last match was Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. So yeah, it was a brawl like you'd expect a brawl. It was a lights out match and a hardcore match, but probably as hardcore as they could get for TV. So it was usual use of the usual trash can and kendo stick and stuff like that. And they do brawl quite violently too, which is good. And it was a good, nice, quick, fun match to watch. It looks like Minoru and Lance Archer got a lot of damage into Moxley and Kingston, but then they got help from Homicide, who came out as well. So I'm not that familiar with Homicide too, though. But yeah, it was okay, and I think it was a fair sort of lights out match. Not, I guess, at the same caliber as the other lights out matches I've seen from AEW. Eddie Kingston won also and beat Lance Archer after a paradigm shift and after a blast of kendo stick hits over a trash can on his head. So that was alright. I was just thinking that was fun and all, but I hope that in the future Minoru Suzuki does get some wins, because it does seem very one-sided at the moment, and the future, law of diminishing returns, the more he loses, the less it's going to be a thing at all when he's in matches. So even as entertaining as he is, I just wish he'd get built up by AEW more, win a lot of matches, but I don't know how many matches they're planning to have with Minoru Suzuki or with Suzuki-gun. But yeah, so actually, even if they were the heels, I was hoping they would win this time and show just how dominant they are. But yeah, it was fine with a win that it was, with the result that it was. And the match was alright too, pretty good and entertaining, but not the best match. I think the best match, the match of the night for me, would have been more the Super Click match. But that's no surprise. Young Bucks are usually my favorite. Even at All Out, it was the Steel Cage match. So Rampage was pretty good too. But I think all in all, Grand Slam was a great series of the two shows. And hopefully, what I'm hoping is that's more of setting the tone more for the future of the TV shows and the caliber of the shows we're gonna see, because there's so much build up still, and there's so many different players that they can move around. The future shows don't need to be as stacked as this one, so that they can let new talent kind of grow and create more stars, and there are so many stars already as it is. So I think, in terms of getting more eyes on the product, providing sort of this is how good we are, this is how good the shows are, it definitely did its job. And I'm even more excited now to watch the next Dynamite and Rampage shows. Originally, I was only planning to watch pay-per-views, but my mind's been changed, and I look forward to watching the rest and also the dark shows. It's been great, and if you caught it, let me know your thoughts. I hope this has been entertaining to hear, and just to share thoughts and talk about the last two Grand Slam shows. And I look forward to more AEW content, and I look forward to talking about it with you as well, the dozens and dozens out there. So please, comment below if you like the video, like and subscribe. It's been fun. It's been fun talking. I'm Joaquin from the World Unboxed, and see you in the next video.